In this video I want to show you how the human brain is both the best and the worst trading machine at the same time. This is actually a quite complicated conversation, but I will try to simplify it as much as possible so we can extract only the really important lessons regarding the subject. The vast majority of traders don't understand that price action is a nonlinear entity, which means that it is impossible to explain it using a formula. Traders throughout history have made the mistake of trying to describe the market using linear formulas, which is something that seems possible, but it actually is not. We cannot explain, describe, or predict a nonlinear entity like the market using a linear formula. This is mathematically impossible. It's not a matter of being difficult. It's literally impossible. That's a problem because uninformed traders have the sensation that they can get away with things like this. Markets are nonlinear entities because they are the byproduct of an insanely complicated net of decisions made by human beings all around the world, and as we already know, human psychology is nonlinear. In other words, we cannot explain the intricate behavior of human beings with formulas. Trying to predict the market using a formula is like trying to predict human behavior with a formula as well. It's just not possible. The conclusion that naturally follows this is that the best way to describe and predict a nonlinear market is by using a nonlinear machine, and we have one inside our heads. However, this nonlinear pattern recognition machine that we have inside our heads is both the main driver of all markets, and not very good at analyzing the market that it creates in the first place. In other words, the human brain and its peculiarities is responsible for the way markets work in such a way, and at the same time, the human brain is subjected to its own silent faults when it tries to analyze the market that it created in the first place. This is a lot like a dog trying to catch its own tail. That's because the portion of the mind that creates and analyzes the markets is actually unconscious. In other words, we are not really aware of the brain behavioral structures that are responsible for all of this. The solution to this ambiguous problem is the study of behavioral economics, which is almost like forcing the brain to analyze itself in a deeper way. If we just let impulses and automatic behaviors control our judgment, we simply won't last very long in the market. The unawareness of how these automatic brain structures function is like the dog trying to catch its own tail, but in the case of the brain, it's almost as if the dog had 40 different tails. It's a much more complicated and deceptive situation. The answer to this problem is the study of how the brain actually works, especially in a situation like the markets. It's truly the only way to avoid this mental minefield. As I said previously, this is a really dense subject, and it can fill many books as it has done in the past, and still continues to do so. It's always a good idea to understand how our own brains works, especially when we face risky situations that are attached to time, which is exactly what happens in the market. It's natural that most traders will simply want to gloss over all this complexity and keep things simple. It's interesting to notice that this impulse to keep things simple is part of these faulty brain structures that cloud the rational judgment that we should have regarding something like the financial markets. Don't get me wrong. Keeping things as simple as possible is always a good idea, but pay close attention to what this phrase means. We should only try to do this until the limit of possibility. Forcing simplicity past this point is just not wise at all. If you want to understand all these things in such a way that trading becomes possible, I encourage you to check out my Fractal Flow Strategy video course. There is a lot about trading psychology contained in that course, and it sheds some light in these issues that cannot be ignored. If you enjoyed this video, please support the channel by clicking the like button, subscribing to the channel, and by leaving your comment below. You can access the strategy store in the link available in the video description. You can also check out tons of free high-quality content here in the channel. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.